Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Dr. Toomer Talk Show. Oops, what happened? I just lost y'all. There you up. Oh, goodness. My computer decided it's gonna act funny, and I can't seem to see you. Hold on. Let me get rid of some of this stuff and bring you back. Okay, there you go. So, I'm Dr. Catherine Toomer. So my whole little beginning just got messed up. But anyway, welcome to the Dr. Toomer Talks Show. I am back after 2 weeks away. The first week is because I got my days mixed up. I was traveling out of the country and I thought that I was a Monday and it was a Tuesday, so I missed showing up. The other is I had COVID last week, so I had to take a break. I still have a little bit of it, but I'm doing much, much better. Thank you for joining. If you're listening, let me know where you're listening from. Tell me who you are. And if you listen later, just say hashtag replay and also let me know where you're listening from. So again, I'm Dr. Catherine Toomer. This is the Dr. Toomer Talk Show. And so I want to talk about holiday health. Now, if you're somebody who if you find that every time you go on a cruise, you catch a cold the first day, or you need a holiday from your holiday, or you start the new year coughing and sneezing, then this one is for you. If you find it helpful and you find it interesting, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Dr. Toomer and share with people so that they can listen too. I talk about all things health, wellness, and weight care related, and I also do topics that are suggested. So anyone who has a topic that they want me to talk about, I'm more than happy to add it to the repertoire. So hello, Marcia. Thank you for coming. Thank you for Marcy is right. That I always say your name incorrectly. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you again. So when it comes to the holidays, it's really important to try and stay healthy because it's just a time of the year where you shouldn't be enjoying yourself, not sitting and laying in bed sick, or when you're looking forward to everything and then all of a sudden you can't enjoy it because you're not feeling well. So there's certain tricks to doing this. Now, I myself, as I've mentioned before, I have postpartum cardiomyopathy, which means pregnancy-related congestive heart failure. I also have type 2 diabetes, which I keep very well controlled. And I've also lost over 100 pounds, which I also try to keep off during the holidays because we all know that there's a lot of gauntlets and things that you can deal with. So when so if you're also someone who is in a health and wellness journey and you're trying to maintain that journey, I am having a workshop slash webinar on November 8th. And I will post that later as to how, or you can just go to my website and find it, or go to my link tree and find where you can register. You can also write to me at help@drtoomer.com to ask me questions, ask for the link, anything that you need. So, um, and the link to the webinar is in the description of the bio, both in Facebook, LinkedIn, and in YouTube. So hello, Farah, how are you? Hello, Sherry. Thank you for coming from New York and from oh, hi, Ethan. Thank you for joining in. All right. Well, I'm going to be talking about holiday health. And holiday health is really important because, like I said, it's the time of year where we should be enjoying ourselves. It's the time of year we spend with family, with friends, and the last thing we want to do is to be in bed, not feeling very well, or end up worse, even worse, end up in the hospital because we haven't taken care of ourselves and all our conditions, and so they worsen during this time. This is not the time to ignore symptoms. This is not the time to ignore all the things that have gotten your health here in the first place. So always the number one thing for holiday health is to maintain what you've been doing all along to keep your health in check. And so what I'll talk about today are the things that you to do so that your health then doesn't slip. And as anyone who's ever listened to me and everyone who's ever talked to me, they know I'm very, very adamant about a biopsychosocial system. It's not enough about just to talk about the medical part. You also have to talk about the psychological and the social because they all work together, especially this time of year. Because we know that this is all about family, friends, and celebrations. And it's also a time what can be very difficult for some people, particularly those who are alone, those who have lost loved ones, who look forward to the holidays that they used to have with people that they no longer have. It's a time when we really start missing people. And so there's a huge psychosocial component to the holidays that it's not all celebrations for everybody. And that's something to keep in mind. So when it comes to the holidays, you want to, number one is biology. I always talk biopsychosocial, so I'm going to do it in that order. Biology. There are 3 M's that I talk about when it comes to biology: your muscle, your meals, and your medication. You have to maintain your muscle. If you're in a nice muscle routine where you work out on a regular basis, this is not the time to stop doing that. Do not let activities get in the way of your workouts. Always keep them a priority. Maintain that routine. Now, if you haven't started one, now's not the time to start some heavy routine right before you're going into the holidays. You can ease into something. You can start something maybe pretty gentle, but I wouldn't start a full-on the challenges and all that through the holidays when you're already going to be, your time is going to be challenged as anyway. So this is the time to maintain your muscle routines if you already have one, and really reconsider starting a new one if you haven't. When it comes to your meals, you want to make sure that they are healthy. Maintain your meals. Don't start eating differently than what you've always done. Yes, you can have goodies. Yes, you can eat those things, but always incorporate them into what you've already been doing. Do not replace them with what you've been doing. Now, one of the things I'll be talking about in my webinar on November 8th is exactly how to eat through the holidays so you don't gain weight, or if you're on a health and wellness journey, that food doesn't disrupt that. So I will be talking about that then in a lot more detail. But when it comes to meals, keeping them protein forward, protein, vegetables. If you're going to have quote unquote cheat meals, which I don't call anything a cheat meal, if it's food and you like it, then you eat it, you're not cheating. Then make sure that it's in moderation, and make sure that's every once in a while. Not all the time, not every single day, not every single meal. So maintaining your eating habits as much as possible, as closely as possible when you are on a health and wellness journey. Maintain your medications. That's the 3rd M. Maintain your medications. Make sure you have them. You don't want to run out. You want to make sure you have them before you go on holiday. You don't want to forget them. Those should be the first thing you pack. They should always be in your carry-on luggage. If you are on a plane, those are the things that you keep with you. They should be in your purse and your handbags. They should not be in checked luggage. Everything, your medication is important. Make sure that you have all your refills. Make sure that you can get as many of your doctor appointments in during this time of year also, because usually this is the time of year when your deductibles have already been met. And so before you start January, where it starts all over again, you want to make sure that you get as many of your appointments in as you can. And so again, muscle, meals, medications, which includes appointments, and so maintaining all of those things. When it comes to the psycho part, it sounds weird, psycho, but of the biopsychosocial, my psychological part is the number one is to avoid triggers. If you know that you have depression, and you know you have anxiety, and you know you have some issues with mood swings and mood disorder that may disrupt your day-to-day life, you want to avoid things if you can during this time of the year. Particular depression is very common to feel. You should not feel ashamed. Whatever you're feeling is valid. Just get help if you need it. Reach out to people. Do not keep it to yourself. Do not isolate yourself. And so avoiding being isolated and avoiding the things that you know trigger those feelings is really important. Do not give up your boundaries just because it's the holidays. If you know that you've been maintaining your boundaries and have been protecting yourself all year round, and you've been protecting your peace, now is not the time to let go of that. So you want to hold on to the things that you've been doing all along. Time management is very, very important, because part of the psychological things that we feel during this time is stress. It's supposed to be a time of celebration, but if you're feeling a lot of stress, it's really hard to celebrate. And so there's lots of ways that we feel stressed. Financial stress, because we tend to overspend sometimes this time of year. So budgeting is really important. Budgeting your money, budgeting your time management. When you're rushing around and all of these things, you do stress. Your body cannot tell the difference from you rushing or from being chased. And being chased, of course, then you're in their fight or flight mode and your cortisol levels go up. And we already know that cortisol levels, as I talk about a lot, cause a lot of issues in our body, particularly inflammation, blood sugar issues, weight gain, and all the rest. So part of time management also is not to overextend yourself, and therefore getting very good at saying no. You don't have to say yes to everything. You don't have to say yes to every invitation. You don't have to say yes to every meal offered. You don't have to say yes to anything. If it preserve your peace, manage your time, manage your budget. Do not overextend yourself on any level. Make sure you take time for yourself. If you find that this time tends to get very social and you're not somebody who likes to be around people all the time, or even if you do, you still need to take some time alone and just carve out a little part of the day each day for just yourself. Maybe it's a shower and you take a little extra long shower, or you take a bath, or you just simply watch your favorite television show or go for a walk. All of those things are very, very helpful. This is also not the time to start a whole lot of new things, simply because we tend to start a lot of things at the beginning of the year anyway. But if you're maintaining, this is the time to maintain what you've already done, not to incorporate a whole lot of new stuff. Particularly because your schedule is going to be thrown off by all sorts of things. Colleagues going on vacation, you going on vacation, people coming to visit, you traveling. All of those things are different. And so starting something new during that time is another disruptor. But unless it's to learn something new. Now, learning something always is a way of relaxing, improving your mind, improving your situation. And so if you have the time and you have the inclination to learn something new, then now is a good time to do that, as long as it's not something that totally disrupts your schedule. And so when you come to, like I said, biopsychosocial, so I've done the biology and I've done the psychology. And when it comes to the social, again, number one most important thing for psychology or for your social health is a good, healthy dose of no. You don't have to do everything that people ask you to do. You don't have to do everything that you've been invited. You don't have to go to everything you've been invited to. All of these things are important in order to protect your peace, but also to protect your social life. If you overextend yourself, that's just as, it's harder on you than it is on the people around you. Again, social, avoid triggers in social. If you know that you're recovering, say from food addiction or alcohol, being around food, if you know that that's a problem for you, then avoid those situations. Set yourself up for success. Plan. If you know you're going into a situation that is often very difficult for you, plan how you're going to handle it. If it's around food, make sure you have your own. If it's around people you don't particularly like, then maybe not be around them is one way of just removing yourself from the situation. And if you can't avoid that, then learn how to control yourself as much as you possibly can and practice what you might say in any given situation so that you feel more empowered in a given situation. Always, when the best way to maintain your social health is to come from a place of power, of empowerment. And so you always essentially plan on ways that you can be the person in control. And that is basically how you stay healthy through the holidays, biologically, psychologically, and socially. Biologically, you make sure that your body is functioning the way it needs to function, and you keep doing all the things that benefit your body that you've always been doing. Psychologically, you protect your peace. Say no if you have to. Try not starting a whole lot of new things during this time of year. And take your time. Really protect your time. And then socially, protect your peace around people. Again, you don't have to go to every single event. You don't have to go to every party. If you find that you're feeling isolated, you're feeling depressed, this is a time of year when you start missing certain family members, you can seek out help. Seek out help, seek out social situations if you need to, but always reach out to someone that you trust. This is not a time to do it alone if you don't have to. So again, I'm Dr. Catherine Toomer, for those of you who are here for the first time. I am the founder of Total Weight Care Institute, and I love teaching, as you can tell. So I'm here every Tuesday live at 6 p.m. for the Dr. TOOMER TALKS Show. And if you have any questions right now, now is a really good time to ask me. And I just want to say hi to Sherry, to Dr. McStuffins. Hey, Natalie, how are you? And Ursuline, and E, and I want to say it's Elizabeth, but I'm so bad with names that I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway, so if you have any questions for me, now's the time to ask. If you think of any questions later, you can write to me at help@drtoomer.com. And that's help at I'll write it actually in the comments. It is help at toomer.com. And if you're looking for my link tree, I think it's LINK link tr.ee.com/Dr. Toomer. There may be an @ in there. If it doesn't go through, it's because I didn't put the @ in. But I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So if you have questions, now is the time to ask. And if you don't, then this is going to be a very short and sweet one. I do try to keep them under 30 minutes. You guys have lives, and I know these are helpful. But, so if there aren't any questions, now they don't have to be questions about this topic, and be about anything health, wellness, and weight loss related. I get a lot of questions about menopause. I get a lot of questions about metabolic health, which I am an expert in. And so if you have any questions, now's the time to ask them. And if you don't have any questions, I hope all of you who are living in the Caribbean, that includes you, Marcy, I hope you're doing well. We know that there's a hurricane kind of barreling down. I think it's a little bit farther away from you guys. At least I hope it stays far away from you. It's heading north, so I just hope you remain safe. Keep us updated and let us know that you're okay. So, you ask, Deborah asks, how does menopause affect your hormones with treated hypothyroidism? Well, this is the thing. There's a part of our brain called the pituitary. And the pituitary is where pre-hormones are, or the precursors to hormones, or the hormone stimulators are made. And those hormone stimulators, like thyroid stimulating hormone and other stimulating hormones, start there, and then they go to other parts of the body, and those hormones kind of are produced. They're interconnected. We don't understand all the ways that they're interconnected, but more than likely it starts in the brain. And because hypothyroidism affects your metabolism, and menopause are hormones that also affect your metabolic status, they are interconnected in that one can affect your body's energy use and one affects your body's energy production. And when the combination of the two happens, whether neither one of them are working the way they're supposed to, it is definitely affected. So menopause hormones don't directly affect your hypothyroid. However, they do interconnect and interact with one another, and it does affect how you feel and your energy levels. I hope that makes sense. Sherry, you're welcome, Sherry. Um, Marcy, it has passed Barbados and it's in Jamaica. Thanks for your concern, Doc. I'm so glad. Okay, I'm glad you're doing okay. Um, Laura asks, can we improve insulin resistance with a high carb, low fat, moderate protein diet beyond GLP-1 use? No. In fact, a high carb diet is the worst thing for insulin resistance. A low carb diet is better. A higher fat diet and a higher protein diet is better. The only time you cannot have higher fat diet is if you have severe cholesterol issues. But unfortunately, cholesterol issues also go along with insulin resistance, which is a metabolic issue. Metabolic issues and cholesterol go hand in hand. Problems go hand in hand. Moderate protein is actually what you don't want to do, mainly because it is protein that keeps your blood sugars down, and insulin resistance is a blood sugar issue. Now, when you have, the only time that you have to be very careful with a high protein diet is if you have kidney issues, kidney problems, and also liver problems as well. But if your liver and your kidneys are working fine, then your body can handle protein. But high carb, absolutely not. What happens with carbohydrates is how carbohydrates are broken down into its smallest component, which is glucose. When you have insulin resistance and you have glucose, your body doesn't know what to do with it or cannot metabolize it, cannot function and use it properly. So what it does is it stores it as fat. And that's why if you have insulin resistance, and you eat carbohydrates, it actually makes you build fat right in your middle. And so, yeah, high carb, no. The best way to improve insulin resistance actually is through muscle. If you don't want to use a GLP-1, then muscle and cortisol control, which is stress reduction, which includes meditation or box breathing and all the rest. All of those things work to improve insulin resistance. Muscle's the absolute best. Muscles are powerhouse, our metabolic powerhouse. And so it is a very fascinating part of our human body is what muscle can do. And any muscle, muscle toning, and mainly because, and I'm keep going on because I know there's other people who are listening and probably have some other questions as well. Muscle toning is the best way to build muscle. So walking is good. It's good for relaxation. It's good for legs strengthening if you aren't someone who walks regularly anyway, so that improves your muscles in your legs. Your leg muscles are your largest muscles, so if you have to just pick one muscle group to grow, then leg muscles are it. But anything you do beyond what you're doing now is an improvement and will help. Okay, any other questions? Those were good ones. Thank you, Laura and Deborah. All right. Well, if that's it, I just want to say thank you for showing up. I apologize for the past 2 weeks and spread the word. Don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, and that's at Dr. Toomer on YouTube. And share with people who you may need help. Now, I have over 300 videos on YouTube, so I'm sure there's some information there that can be helpful. And if there's any topic that you want me to talk on, just simply let me know. All right. Well, you all have a good evening and good night. And I realized I forgot to put my intro music, so we're just going to have to say good night without my music to send us off. All right. Good night, y'all.